All right. So this is one way in which an intelligent design theorist, who's actually a software developer or a computer scientist, has I think changed the view of a Darwinian tree of life to a dependency graph, which is interesting. So, and he, in his paper, he claims that the dependency graph model is, like 1,000 times more accurate than Darwinian trees. And we've known for a long time that Darwinian phylogenetics, it's called, is trying to make a tree of life by comparing genetic sequences. It doesn't work very well, because if you read the papers on this, they talk about, we used a sequence that has a strong phylogenetic signal to make this tree. Well, what does that mean? It means it's a sequence that when you compare different organisms, it gives you a tree that we want. Whereas if you compare sequences called orphan sequences, which are sequences of genes that are only found in one specific species, you can't get a Darwinian tree of life out of that. Or other sequences which are found in different organisms but don't give you a sensical tree of life, right? And so they have to invent things like horizontal gene transfer, which claims that, well, there were all these viruses going around that took genetic material from one group, from one population, and put it into another one, to make sense of all this genetic data that's being advanced. And so HGT, or horizontal gene transfer, is kind of like epicycles, where it's this sort of indication that the old model is starting to fail. And so this new model of dependency graph is really interesting, I think, because it relates organisms on the basis of function.
And part of that functioning within a fairly certain amount of oxygen, hydrogen, within kind of the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yep.
God said, bang, and it all fell into place.
Let there be.
Okay, so before we take off, we can skip all that. I wanted to invite you guys we want to try and get together a group that goes down to the Discovery Center at the Institute for Creation Research here in Dallas. I've been volunteering there it's been open since September. It's $18 for adults, but if we get 12 or more, it's $14. So if you guys are interested in that, we can start talking about maybe planning. It's really cool. It's very non-technical. It's very experience oriented. So there's like giant animatronic dinosaurs, and there's some cool videos. There's a planetarium with a 3D show about oceans, and then there's another one about planets. It's very cool. I would recommend going at least once. Also, the Discovery Institute is doing a conference on science and faith on Saturday, January 25th in Denton. It's going to have Michael Behe, Douglas Axon, Stephen Meyer, and Walter Bradley all there, people I've talked about in the intelligent design sections. I'm definitely going to go. That's a little more expensive. That's $35 if you order a ticket by December 17th. So that one is really more interesting to me probably, but if you guys want to go, just go to the discovery.org. It should have tickets you can get for it. So there's all kinds of opportunities in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to go to events and things like that, so I keep my eyes open. All right, any final questions at all? Pretty much done, so
Very good.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
thank you all for bearing with me.
Thank you for.
So what all these scientists say about the Big Bang theory? So nobody can prove it yet.
It's not.
That's really complicated. And it's not,
Okay,
an
you have to come
area.
back and teach about physics and everything else.
In this.
It's not